Okay, you guys asked, and so I'm answering. And many of you want to know, when would you detox? How do you know if you should detox? Remember, if you've been following me here, we live in the most toxic time in human history. And there is some very classic signs that will tell you time to step into a detox. So I'm on a mission. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Dr. Mindy, and I am on a mission to teach 1 million people how to build a fasting lifestyle. And in that lifestyle needs to be detox. So stay tuned. I'm going to lay it all out for you. And as always, give me feedback. Thank you for sharing, and I hope this helps. Okay, so today I want to dive into how do you know if you should detox. So as I'm doing this video, it's the beginning of the new year. A lot of people are jumping into detoxes just because that's what we do in the new year. But I like to help you think for yourself and really learn to be your own doctor. So I wanted in this video to talk about how would you know that it's time to detox. And I really feel like there are 3 times that you want to lean into a detox. First is when your symptoms, and I call them neurotoxic symptoms, when neurotoxic symptoms reveal themselves, and you may or may not know if those symptoms are associated with toxins. So I want to dive into what those toxins and those symptoms actually mean. The second time is when you're stuck, when you're just feeling like, I'm not getting any result. I'm doing everything and I'm not getting anything. And then the third time is when you've had exposure, like you've been somewhere, and I'll explain how that you've been exposed. And so I'll share some insight around that. So stay tuned through this whole video. So let's talk about neurotoxic symptoms. So there are classic ones, insomnia, trouble losing weight, gaining weight for no reason, chronic fatigue, memory loss, depression, anxiety, constipation, hair loss, triggering if you've all of a sudden randomly triggered an autoimmune condition. 70% of autoimmune conditions are due to environmental toxins. Pain that's not going away. Those are all indications that your toxic load has gotten really high. And here's what happens with toxic loads that is so intriguing, is that it's subtle in the beginning. Like, think of it like a bucket that's just slowly getting filled. And then one day, all it takes is what we call the perfect storm, where one toxin, it could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be chemical. There's some stressor that all of a sudden tips your toxic bucket, and all of these symptoms reveal themselves. So we see it all the time in my clinic where people are going along, they're doing great, and they're toxic, but they don't know that their toxic load is really high. And then they maybe have a stressful thing, like they get a divorce, or they get in a car accident, or they lose a loved one, or somebody at work gets fired and now their workload is much higher. And that is the initiator of the perfect storm. And all of these toxins, all these symptoms start to reveal themselves. So if that is you, if you resonate with any of those symptoms, that is the time to start detoxing. We live in a world where we want to try to go after the symptoms, but here in my clinic and in the world I live in, we're going after root cause. We're going after why the body created those symptoms in the first place. Your body's a miracle. It's programmed for healing. So why are those symptoms sticking around and not going away? And so much of that could come back to toxins. So perfect storm, any of those symptoms sound familiar to you, then that is when it's time that you really want to dive into a detox. And we'll talk about how you know which detox to do in a moment. Okay, second time. There are so many of you here on my channel that you're just amazing fasters and you're amazing with keto, and you're going along and you're doing great, and then you get stuck and you're trying everything and it's not unsticking you. So if that's you, then one of the things that you'll hear me say over and over again on this channel is that keto and fasting is a healing diet. This is why I want to get 1 million people engaged in a fasting lifestyle, because you can heal so many cells in your body by knowing how to fast. But if the intelligence of the body is stuck, it's not dropping weight. Your sleeping is not improving. Your hair loss is not improving. Your blood sugar is not coming down. And you're throwing every lifestyle cure at it possible, then that would be a time that you want to lean into a detox. Okay, and then the third time is exposure. So we live in this toxic world. We are exposed to things all the time. The example I've given before is that personally, I was at a hotel at a conference a couple months ago, and I got exposed to mold, and I felt it right away. And there were a lot of symptoms associated with it. So I came home and I started detoxing before I allowed that mold to settle into my tissues and to damage me anymore. If you're traveling a lot, you might be drinking the waters and eating the foods that you don't normally drink. When you get home, those are times to detox. This is why we detox in January. Most of us overdo it in December, so we come into January and we start to detox. So 3 times: symptoms, stuck, and exposure. Those are the 3 times you want to come at a detox and look at a detox, okay? Now, how do you know what detox to do? So we've talked about this before, that stimulated autophagy with fasting is wonderful, but it doesn't get to the neurotoxic symptoms. It doesn't get to these environmental toxins. It can get to the excess, glucose and insulin. It can get to bacteria and viruses, and it can really start to break those down, but it doesn't know what to do with these synthetic chemicals in our body. So if that is you, then you start with autophagy. That's great. Again, I want you to live in this fasting lifestyle. But then if your symptoms are not going away or you're in any of those 3 areas, you're going to want to take it to the next level. The next level from autophagy would be something very simple. I want to give you some ideas that don't cost money, that could be quite simple. Make sure you're sweating. Your lymph system, your lymphatics, they're there to make sure that in sweat that toxins are getting out. Dry brushing. So dry brushing is amazing for your skin, is an incredible detox organ. So make sure that you're pushing out these toxins through your skin and you're opening up your skin. Those are 2 really movement. Get your circulation going. Get out and walk around so that your body can circulate those toxins. Okay, so that would be easy, no expense. The next level of detoxing would be something what we call our basic detox. And it's G-Cell. You can get these on Revelation Health, and Bind. So they come in a pair. They're called IBD. We'll put a link in the notes so you get those. You take 2 G-Cell in the morning, opens up the toxins from the cells, and you take 2 Bind at night. Very simple detox, a great starter detox. So autophagy, no money. You can do it on your own, but you're not getting to the environmental toxins. G-Cell and Bind. Now you're getting to the environmental toxins a little bit more. So, and then the third form of detoxing that we implement here in our office is something called true cellular detox, where we actually take people through a 90-day program and we pull toxins out of the brain, we pull toxins out of the body. There's a very systematic way we do it, and we actually teach people to do it so that they don't need us after they get through that process, and they can do it for the rest of their lives. So if you're curious, if you need a detox, start with, what are my symptoms? Am I stuck? How's my exposure been? Then move to, okay, am I fasting? Am I building a fasting lifestyle so that I'm stimulating autophagy? Then you would move to, okay, can I start with a minimal detox like G-Cell and Bind? Then if you're still not healing, you're still not feeling better, you're still worried about your symptoms, that's when you want to move into more of a true cellular detox. So, as always, please let me know if that makes sense. That I am so concerned about this crazy toxic world we live in. I want you guys to get this, and I want to give you all different stages in which you can engage in your health. So give me feedback. If this was helpful, just put helpful in the notes. So that in the comments, so that I know. If you have any questions about your symptoms and you're like, I don't know if that's a toxin or not, then put those in the comments. I've got a team of people that are there answering them and making sure that you get the support that you need. But toxins, they're not getting any better. 2020, we live in the most toxic time in human history, and it's time for us all to realize that detox is more important than lifestyle. As always, hope that helps.